my new gadget review, Nexus 6P unboxing and second impression.
Hey, what's going on guys? Chris Chavez here with phandroid.com, unboxing the Nexus 6P. So my previous video I unboxed the 5X, which you can see right over here. And this is, I guess, Google's flagship for this year. This is not only their biggest model, but it's their most premium build qualities. It's, I mean, got the higher specs and all that stuff. And it also has a much higher price tag. So in this video, I just wanted to show you guys what you get inside the box and all that fun stuff, and give you a quick hardware tour, talk about some of the specs, and I guess my experience after using the device for the weekend. So silver, very nice. A little infographic showing you guys how to use where the SIM card is and how to charge it and all that fun stuff. 2 cables there, spoiler. So this is the 6P right here. This is the I guess graphite black model. The finish is interesting. I feel like it's a little bit more grippier and stickier if you have moist hands like I do, moist, and it's interesting. I guess like on the Motorola devices and stuff, and the Galaxy S6 and iPhones, I feel like those aluminums are always super slippery, and yeah. So oh gosh, there I go again tapping it. So it's metal. That's usually why I keep tapping it, because it feels. I want to give you guys that solid sound. Power button here on the side, volume rocker, all that fun stuff. I didn't even get to show you guys what's inside the box. So pretty much all the same stuff that you can expect. 90 days free Google Play Music, SIM removal tool, documentation. This one does come with a USB Type-C to Type-A cable, so you can plug it into your computer. Probably not going to use it to charge because it's so freaking tiny. No one ever mentioned that. Google never mentioned that on the Google Play Store listing or the Google Store listing, so pretty short. But you do get the USB Type-C to Type-C cable, which is used for charging inside of the included power adapter, so pretty long, not too bad. Type-C to Type-C right there, and then you get the 3 amp charger, the Type-C cable right there at the top or front, I guess, however you look at it. So that's what comes in the box. This is the 6P. I've been using this sucker for over the weekend, and I have to say I am 100 times more impressed than I was when I gave you guys my initial hands-on video at the Google event. This is just, I mean, I'm kind of floored a little bit. So on paper, the specs might not sound so great, and there's some other devices that use very similar specs and hardware, but I don't know what Google did to fine-tune the software and all this stuff to play just perfectly, meld together with the software and the hardware. But it's leaps and bounds. It's like the best, the quickest, fastest phone I've ever played with in my life. So the P stands for premium in 6P. You get a 5.7-inch 2K display, Gorilla Glass 4. It has an oleophobic coating. Now, that might not sound too great because you're like, well, the previous generation Nexus 6 had a 2K AMOLED display as well. The difference being is that Google says that they're using the most recent Samsung AMOLED panels, which means, I mean, color accuracy is there. They kind of fine-tuned the color gamut as well. So colors are just so much more accurate. The whites are nice and white. They're not as yellow, tingy, and nasty looking as they were on the Nexus 6. And I have to say, it shows. I mean, it is just, it's a beautiful mother frickin' display. It's gorgeous. There is an RGB notification LED somewhere along the top there. It's kind of hidden away. And you do get dual front-facing speakers. Bezels are a little bit bigger than I probably would have liked. On Motorola phones, you can see the bottom is usually really small. But I guess they're evenly spaced. Maybe that's kind of what they were going for there. And the quality is absolutely amazing. On the 5X, they're total garbage. On this, though, they super crystal clear. Not as full sounding as you'd get maybe from the one M9 or the Moto X Pure. Moto X Pure is, I mean, leaps and bounds louder and just more a full sound. You can use it as like a little boombox. These are definitely adequate, though. Very loud, very clear. Inside you get a Snapdragon 810 processor version 2.1, and it's 2.0 gigahertz octa-core. Adreno 430 GPU power in it, and I have to say, I wasn't excited about the Snapdragon 810. I mean, I played with it in the One M9, which was a little bit slow. I forget what other device. Oh, the OnePlus 2 has it, and wasn't really too crazy about it there. But Google did something. I'm not sure exactly what they did, but they did something to make it absolutely amazing. This phone flies. I mean, absolutely flies. Gets a little bit hot in use, but nothing too crazy. Can get a little bit warm, but because it's aluminum, it just, I mean, the heat dissipates pretty quickly as well. So, nothing that would be alarming, I guess I should say. 3 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM inside. Again, pretty much close or similar to last year's model, but the RAM is quicker. And I guess the real piece de la resistance is the 12.3 megapixel camera on the back. It's got a 1.5 micron sensor. The pixels are bigger. They let in more low light, and I mean, I was shooting this with this over the weekend for Halloween, and yeah, it's up there. It's pretty amazing. It's got an f2.0 aperture lens, IR laser focus. You can't see it here, but the little IR thing is under there. And the kind of looks weird. It's covered by this like long piece of glass, which I actually kind of like because it's easier to wipe clean. Sometimes when you have those indented cameras, and it's harder to wipe out the dust and wipe away some of the grease and oil that builds up in there. Definitely like this. You also get slow motion recording, 120 frames per second or 240, and it's got a burst mode as well. The front's got an 8 megapixel front facing camera, 1.4 micron sensor, f2.4 aperture, so I guess it's not as quick as the Nexus 5s, but I guess it'll get the job done. It's got more megapixels. The back, you got the fingerprint sensor, which Google is calling Nexus Imprint. And I have to say, it works pretty darn quick. Not as quick as the iPhone 6S. I'd say probably comparable to the regular iPhone 6, but it's pretty quick. You can't just tap it to activate it. I guess I can kind of show you. You kind of have to hold it for just, there you go. Maybe half a second or 3/4 of a second. So it's pretty darn quick. I haven't had any complaints as far as speed goes on that. And it's pretty darn accurate as well. You got a USB Type-C here at the bottom. It's not spec'd at USB 3.1, so it's still 2.1, but it is a USB Type-C port, so you can plug in your USB Type-C cable any which way you'd like. And also inside you get a 3,450 milliamp hour battery. It's got fast charging again, and it uses that 3 amp charger there. Google says it'll get you 7 hours of usage from a 10-minute charge. Haven't really been able to test that yet because the battery life's been pretty good. I usually only have to charge it when I come home at night and I go to bed, so I haven't really been able to charge, or I guess document how quickly it charges, but it's pretty great as far as battery life's concerned. Inside you get a also 32 gigabyte, 64 gigabyte, or 128 gigabytes of storage, depending on what model you get. It starts out at $500 and moves up $50 increments according to that storage size. So it can get a little bit pricey. But to me, I was positive just by looking at the specs on paper, and I kind of tell people this all the time. Like, it's kind of, you don't want to go off of just listed hardware specs. I know in the Android world, we kind of just look at that. What are the specs? What are the specs? We always ask that. It's the first thing we always ask, and we kind of use that to justify whether or not we're going to buy a device. You can't, because I did the same thing, and I am absolutely blown away with this phone. The camera performance, the performance of the device itself. I mean, it is absolutely the fastest phone I have ever used in my entire life, and there's just absolutely no slowing it down. It's the greatest thing in the world. I've never been more happy with a phone. So I guess this is gonna be my daily driver from now on, and I have to sell off all my other Androids. But that is a quick look at the Nexus 6P. Just be on the alert for a full review coming in the coming days. We didn't want to review it after only 48 hours. We kind of wanted to put it through its paces for like a week or so. So stay tuned for that with phandroid.com. I'm Chris Chavez. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.